under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, that section was added later on.
Thank you. Welcome. Roll call, please, John.
President Peng.
Here.
Vice President Romano.
Here.
Mr. Shi.
Here.
Ms. White.
Here.
Mr. Mohan Patel.
Present.
Actually, Mark. Mr. Baral Patel.
Here.
Mr. Schneider.
Here.
Mr. Rivera.
Present.
Mr. Vishal Patel.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Opening statement.
Yes. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, C-231 Sunshine Law, copies of this public meeting notice were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger on January 3rd, 2023. Members of the public may participate at regular meetings in accordance with the bylaws of the board and applicable state regulations.
Thank you. Today we have two student council representatives. I'll start with our guest, Edison High, Miss Serena Ahmad. Is here? Okay, JP starts then. Miss Zoya Azim.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zoya Azim, and I am the Student Council First Vice President from John P. Stevens High School. Overall, the month of March has been very successful, and I'm here today to report on it. Since March is Music in Our Schools Month, I would like to start by highlighting our music department's achievements. The Chamber Orchestra received the highest gold rating score at the CGMEA Region 2 Orchestra Festival on February 28th at Bridgewater Raritan High School. They also performed at the Lincoln Center Orchestra Cup on March 4th. The JPS Chamber Choir Ensemble performed on March 19th for a concert to benefit earthquake victims in Turkey and Syria. The Band Jazz Ensemble performed at the Allentown Jazz Festival on March 3rd. They were the best overall band and won awards for Best Saxophones and Best Rhythm Section. Soloist awards were given to Samara Munagala on trumpet, Aditya Ashok on piano, and Rishi Gurnani on clarinet. On March 7th, our jazz ensemble had the highest score out of 43 bands at Jazz State Prelims. They won Best Trombones and Best Rhythm Section. Soloist awards were given to Matt Nelson on drums, Rishi Gurnani, and Aditya Ashok. They go on to state finals on April 29th, held right here at JP Stevens. Our new indoor percussion group placed first in their division at 2 consecutive competitions, March 4th at Hackettstown High School and March 11th at Old Bridge High School. The Teen Arts Festival took place on March 15th, where select artists from AP Art and other departments went to Middlesex County College to participate in workshops and expand their horizons. 5 out of the 10 people that advanced to the next level were from JP Stevens. The theater company had their performance of their spring musical, Grease, last week. They had performances last Thursday, Friday, and 2 on Saturday. The show was a huge success and was met with good compliments from everyone that attended. Mr. JPS is occurring this Friday, and we are in the middle of rigorous preparations to ensure that it is the best performance possible. We would also like to mention that on March 8th, we hosted a career day for our sophomores. We had over 40 people come in to share their career experiences in an attempt to help the 10th graders learn about several professions. Moving on to clubs, the DECA Club competed at the State Career Development Conference in Atlantic City from February 27th to March 1st. 96 people competed in the tough competition, and 19 will advance to the highest level. The International Career Development Conference is in Florida from April 22nd to April 25th, which is where those 19 people will compete. 6 teams from Odyssey of the Mind will compete at state finals at Princeton High School on April 1st. This month, there were 2 basketball games that JPS Project Unified Basketball were a part of. On March 1st, there was an inter-squad game with the JP students playing against each other. On March 7th, JP's Unified team traveled to Edison High School to play against Edison's Unified team. Members of the Edison Police Force were in attendance along with Edison's cheerleaders. The JPS Farm Stand is run by students with special needs within the JPS community. Anybody is welcome to shop there, whether it's students, teachers, or even parents. We welcome you to come to our Spring Farmers Market on April 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be plenty of food vendors, collectibles, handmade crafts, and more. Now, this concludes everything happening at John P. Stevens at the moment, so thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Ms. Azim. Now we have public comments, resolution only. Anyone? Seeing none, motion to end public comments?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve personnel report.
Motion.
Second.
Whoa.
Third.
Joe.
Joe.
Jerry and Joe.
Okay. Mr. Vishal Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Baral Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Vice President Romano?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve administration, curriculum, and instruction pupil special service reports.
Motion. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Vishal Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Baral Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Vice President Romano?
Yes.
President Peng?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve finance reports.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Vishal Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Baral Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Vice President Romano?
Yes.
President Peng?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we have committee reports. I'd like to start with maybe Township Liaison. Ms. White?
Oh, liaison
ready?
first? Wow.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. The Township Liaison Committee was held on Tuesday, March the 14th at the Education Center, beginning at 11 a.m. and ending at 12 noon. In attendance in person were Mayor Joshi, Chief of Staff Bob Deal, Council President John Pointer, Township Business Administrator Sonia Alves Aviras, Commissioner Charles Tamaro, Edison Police Sergeant Lisa Semino, BOE member Mohan Patel, Acting Superintendent Dr. Edward Aldarelli, BOE Business Administrator and Board Secretary John Toth, BOE member Virginia White, Chair. Via Zoom, we had Council Liaison Chair Ajay Patel, Councilman Joe Coyle, Edison Fire Department Chief Andy Toth, and Edison Police Deputy Chief Bob Dudash, and BOE member Biral Patel. We began our meeting with Commissioner Charles Tamaro. Commissioner Tamaro updated the group on several county projects. There will be a 5,000-seat stadium at Middlesex College near Mill Road. They are also planning a magnet school at the college next to the existing STEM school. For Edison Park, plans are to add 14 sports fields with grandstands for football, baseball, softball, cricket, and pickleball within the next 5 years, all of this. We asked about plays in the park, and there are 3, Rock of Ages, Ain't Misbehavin', and Cinderella. He also updated us on Hands of Hope. There is always a need for donations of food, so always keep them in mind. There will be a Hands of Hope fundraiser at Topgolf on April 16th. Mohan Patel suggested that they do not use artificial flowers in the park this year. Mayor Joshi provided us with information on the Talmadge Road property and the possibility of using it for a school. Until the BOE decides the final purpose for the property, it will be used for open space. The group had a lengthy discussion on Stelton School and the property surrounding the building. We will do further research with the DEP to determine in what direction we should proceed. The mayor advised us of the township internship program that is available to our students. This program gives the student the opportunity to shadow public officials to see what opportunities are available to them. This program has been ongoing for several years and has been successful. The contact for the township is Kat Leary. Chief of Staff Bob Deal announced that the Township Master Plan is scheduling a meeting for Wednesday, April the 19th, in the council chambers at 7 p.m. They will be accepting recommendations from the public at this meeting. On Thursday, March 16th, the dedication for the Peter Barnes Reserve, formerly known as Dismal Swamp will be held. Bob also said that along with other township officials, they participated in the Read Across America program. Deputy Chief Bob Dudash addressed the Old Post Road Boulevard of Eagles issue. We have a crossing guard assigned to that post, but we are still researching out all of our options. The crossing guards have been pulling double duty, and since the crossing guard positions have been filled, we should not run into this problem in the future. In addition, they are in the process of hiring a floater guard, which should help with that, the overlap there. Deputy Chief Dudash announced that we have a new community policing officer, and his name is Neil Patel. The police are looking into a drug education program, and we, along with them, want to become proactive. The junior police and high school police academies will begin registration soon. Deputy Chief Dudash said that many of our police officers participated in our Read Across America program. Sergeant Semino updated the Gloria Avenue project. The Department of Public Works will be looking into opening an area at the end of the street. Plainfield Road has a police officer assigned there to cover those crossings. Viral Patel thanked our police for their participation in all of their hard work. Fire Chief Andy Toth announced the reunification training for the BOE personnel. It's an excellent program and should be taken advantage of. We will be actively working on the opportunities video, and our target date for completion for that video will be in May. The next liaison meeting is scheduled for April the 18th. Respectfully submitted, Virginia White, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Mr. President.
Madam President.
Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah, let me go
Michelle.
first. Ms. Virginia, excellent work with the liaison committee. I have a question on Gloria Avenue project. Did they give you any deadline on when it will be complete?
Which project?
Gloria
Opening the Gloria Avenue.
Oh, that should be, we're hoping for the beginning of the next school year, I would think. But that's just me. I don't have anything written in stone. I know they're going to have to do most of that work since it's such a big project. I've said this before, that they can't do it while school is in session because of all the heavy equipment and the loud noise and the children being dropped off and the buses. So this is something that we're going to have to kind of, move to a quiet time for the school, but it's going to be noisy for the neighborhood because it is a huge project. So I am thinking, and I shouldn't even say that it should be the beginning of the school year, but I promise you I will check on it again, okay?
Yeah, please, thank you.
Thank you.
So I
That's
think
all
in February meeting, I think they mentioned about Gloria Avenue. So the township engineer was, during the school time, obviously, like you said, Mrs. White, the construction cannot be completed. But one of the things that they can do during year before, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, some of the things we're waiting for better weather. They did not anticipate such a better weather in February. It should have started by now.
Yeah.
But that was not a part of the plan, but one of the things they mentioned is should have started. So some work may be started, but most of the thing I think is going to happen during summer.
I'm not an expert at construction, but that project seems like a few days' work. It's not a very long project, right? They can do it on a long weekend if they have right resources.
Well, I think they also discussed about issuing the bids for the work. That was one of the things.
Well, I think most of the bids went out, and I think they may have been accepted. I'm not an engineer.
Right.
I have no idea. The only thing that I do know for sure is you cannot pour concrete if it's under 30 degrees. And my father used to say that all the time. But that is the only thing I know about construction, honestly. So I leave that up to the engineers and, and the information that they provide to me to give to you.
Yep, I kindly request you to get the timeline and also estimate how long it will take once they start, right? So if
Well,
it's few days of work, maybe do it on long weekend. We don't have to wait for the next school year because it's very
So one of the
complicated.
things they mentioned, I remember, I'm pretty sure about it, was this changes the pattern of the traffic. So any pattern changes, they would like to do at the beginning of the school year. That was one of the factors.
There's always a reason, there's always a reason for things, and we wanted to go very smoothly, not only for our school, which is the most important thing, but we also want it to work well for the residents in that area. And, hopefully, this will all pull together, but, it's a work in progress, and we have to see what happens.
I understand. I just have a couple of times that they can do it. Like spring break is another time when no kids are gonna be. As a board or as a liaison, I just want you to ask for it, and if they can, propose whether they can do it, during the spring break, right? If they have resources to do it.
I can mention it.
Thank you.
But like I
thank
say,
you.
I'm not an engineer,
I
so
know.
I don't know. But
I
I
know.
will mention it, I promise.
Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate
You're
it. Thank you.
welcome.
Board President, if I may add something.
Mr.
So-
Mohan Patel?
In our meeting, we also discussed crossing lights that Metuchen has in Plainfield Avenue. And I asked the BA for the township to see if they could find a way to get those lights for us as well. And she said that she wasn't aware of what was the issue and how it was, so she was going to look into it and bring it forward and let us know in the next meeting, I guess. So if we could follow up with her and see if we could get that information for the next meeting, that would be awesome.
They were very forthcoming and very willing to help us with everything that we put forward to them. But we also had asked that same question to the police department, and I know Bob Dudash is researching that. And you don't like to overstep people, or I don't. And, so by the time we get to the next meeting, I can just remind them of those two things. All know how jealous I am of Metuchen's flashing lights. I mean,
Yes.
I wish we had them for us, but, we will look into it, I promise, okay?
This way, at least, we could actually just get them to do their due diligence and start working
They
for the
will.
people. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yeah, Mr. Shi?
Mrs. White, did they provide any updates on the stoplight at the Boulevard of Eagle and Old Post Road?
Well, right now, they have a definite assigned crossing guard there, and that, as I stated in my minutes, they are looking into other options. It's not something they could just run out there and slap a light up. That's something that has to be researched. That is the spot where I was hoping for the flashing lights activated by the crossing guard. And, because I've seen that in Metuchen, and it works very well there. We cannot put a regular traffic light there because it would totally, mess up the, Old Post Road going across Route 1. I mean, it just cannot be done. But possibly, and it is being looked into, we just have to exercise a little bit of patience and let the people that we're asking to do this, do their magic and research what can be done there. I have seen a bunch of pedestrian crossing signs going right up the side there on Old Post Road. I go down that street a lot, and I've noticed that. But what I want, or what I would like to see there, would be those flashing lights, because I think that would be, I think that would be very, very helpful. But they have to do a regular traffic study. Let's face it, we're just lay people, and we think that, this would work and that would work. The police are the experts. They know. And I think probably what they'll end up doing is a traffic study there to see. We've done our own in our own parking lots. So it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to do it there as well. But it's on their radar. It is.
Didn't John Pointer send an email, I believe, in regards to the same question?
No.
I know that they're doing, I know there's a follow-up, so I'm checking my email.
I gotta give kudos to the Metuchen mayor for
Can we
being
have
a
a
very
quorum?
proactive.
Can we have a quorum? I still have
Sorry.
the floor, please.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Anyone else?
I haven't
Mr. Shi?
finished yet.
Okay.
So, about this, in this minute, Mayor Joshi provided the information on the Talmadge property and possibility of using it for a school, 9th grade. Until the BOE decides the final purpose of the property, it will be used for open space. So is he suggesting that we build a 9th grade school there?
No, he is not. That is not what he said at that meeting.
Okay,
And
so,
this is what I put down there is exactly what was said. Nothing more, nothing less.
okay, so there's a 9th grade there, but I just want to remind everyone, we have probably 1,300 students in each grade. And to put a school there for 1,300 students,
Well, I
Okay,
don't
well,
think you,
let me finish.
oh, excuse me.
That will be minimum probably $200 million construction. And that school property is very, very small. We don't have enough parking. As I said before, we did a study of 850 students. At that time, 3 years ago, it was $86 million. Right now, with inflation of 850 students for 3-story buildings, probably going to $100 million. If we are putting a 1,300 students in there, I can say the cost is probably $200 million, and we do not have enough parking for that. And the other thing we need to consider is we have these 9th grades who are participating in the other classes with the 10th graders, with 11th graders. If we have a separate building just for 9th graders, those collaboration cannot be happening, and not even talking about sports and all of that. So if someone who has this idea of putting a 9th grader school there, I don't think it's mature, and I don't think it's going to work. But that's just my opinion. And just a question for Mr. Romano through the chair. I thought that the day before the mayor presented the state of the township address, he had a conversation with you privately in his office. And you asked him specifically, was there a condition attached with that property, right, Mr. Romano?
Yes, that's the truth.
And what was the answer?
There was no conditions.
No conditions attached. So we're just going to give it to us.
He was going to give it to us.
Thank you. And I just want to make the record straight. I heard Mayor Joshi had an interview with Wake Up Edison, and he claimed that his administration secured $50 million for school. That is totally not true. He has been on a board, he has been a mayor for 2 years. The first year, he can claim that that's his job. Excuse me. The state gave us $11.4 million extra. And this year's 25.9. So you add those two together, it's 37.3. It's not $50 million. Just want to keep the record straight. Thank you.
I'm surprised he didn't claim for Woodbridge or Metuchen or any other school's money that they got too. So, yes, he likes to talk a lot.
Thank you. Oh, Joe.
When I talked to the mayor, I asked about a couple of properties. I also discussed, not with the mayor, but I discussed with some council people about the Stelton School. It seems that the Stelton School's been on the registry since George Spadoro was the mayor. Now, if you take and you close your eyes and you visualize the property that was taken in Metuchen by the train station, and then you visualize the property in Woodbridge, and then you visualize the property by Stelton School. According to the people I talked to today, they said that would be a perfect place to put 80 units, multi-dwelled units, 2 or 3 stories high. And it would be because it would be close to the train station. But what they would have to do is they would have to take and demolish the school. Now, the property is on the registry. The only way that we could take and get the property would be if the mayor signs a piece of paper removing it from the registry. So I want to make sure that everyone understands. All we have to do is get the mayor to sign a piece of paper that says that the school is ours. That's it. Remove the school or the property from the registry. The property's been since George Spadoro was in office. The stroke of a pen, and you could remove that property from the registry, and then we can move forward. So if you wanted to take and build 80, and the number was 80, that's what I discussed with the person, of multi-dwelled units, walking distance to the train station. Think about that for a minute. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus coming over the hill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. I'm sure if the mayor really wants to help out our school, he can sign a paper probably in a week. So let's see how long it takes.
One
to sign a piece
signature.
of paper.
Board
Yeah.
President?
And if they're going to put
Yeah.
80 units of,
Schneider?
So last year, when I had the opportunity as board president to speak to the Department of Environmental Protection regarding the Green Acres, it was not somebody from the mayor's office, it was at the state level. And the information that I got completely conflicts with what you just mentioned. So the mayor had no power, it was all through the state. So what I request of this board leadership is that you get the answers maybe through our attorney, and at next meeting, we actually address to make sure that whatever legal avenues that need to be taken to get a property off of Arasi, which is the recreation open spaces or Green Acres, et cetera, that the actual process for that is clear. Because everything you just described is the opposite of what I learned from the state. So I'd like to be proven wrong, because if it's something if there's something that could be done locally, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier. I was told that it was through the state and it was via a land exchange. And we have all of the papers and the documents with our previous superintendent that we got from the state. So either way, I just request of the chair, please, let's clear it up, especially if we're going to be talking in public about things. I don't want to mislead anyone, that's all. Thank you.
And I'd like to just say something as well. That's true. We did have, a gentleman from the DEP come, and he gave us a whole bunch of information. It was very good. We had all of our attorneys there and the township attorneys, and it worked, and we did get a tremendous amount of, information. Things got stopped for, one reason or another. But, at the last meeting that we just had at our caucus meeting, maybe Douglas did ask that, if he could spearhead this, and I would like to have him, along with the liaison committee, kind of focus on that. And I think it would be beneficial for all concerned, and maybe we would get definite answers, or answers that would, satisfy everybody regarding Stelton School, if he focused on that, and the DEP. We would all be involved in it, but I think if he could spearhead that, I think it would be a good thing, not a bad thing.
I think Board President, if I may,
Sure.
I think the best thing to do is if we could try to get the DEP person that was at our
I'll
last
get him
meeting
back.
back again in
No
our next
problem.
liaison meeting, and then we could actually go through the whole questions and make sure that everything is all kosher. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yeah, Mr. Shu.
can I suggest, Mrs. White, whenever you schedule the meeting, get both sides of the attorney involved, so we can, just, get to the bottom of it?
Yes.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Joe, you want to start with the special ed committee?
Hold on, can I comment?
Reports?
Oh.
Oh, Mr. Rivero.
So I know there's conversations in regards to the Old Post Road and boulevards of the Eagles Light. I know I saw an email that was sent to a citizen asking about it, and there was a response from Council President John Pointer that he's looking into it. He followed up to the email in regards to a March 6th email.
Yeah, I don't care.
And he talked about the pedestrian traffic study. He also talked about the crossing guard situation. So I know that they're looking into it. So I just wanted the public to know that citizens did come out with a concern, and I do know that the township is looking into it, because I'm reading the email here. It's a lengthy email, so I don't want to read it.
No, it's
But-
not long. Why don't you read it? It's just 2 paragraphs.
If you want to read it, you can read it. Obviously, you have the email, but I know I'm not. But I do know that they're following up with it, and I just want to let the public know that it is a concern, and the township is addressing it, because I have the email. Thank you.
Madam President, you want me to read the
Comments? Yeah,
email?
Mr. Shi. Up to you.
Yeah, so pedestrian/traffic study. Sergeant Semino advised that the pedestrian study was conducted, which shows the intersection would warrant a flashing pedestrian beacon. The engineering office is looking into several options to facilitate, and estimated time would be summer of 2023. Note 1, he will follow up if the pedestrian study included traffic counts and such, presuming there is a difference between the two types of studies. Note 2, we informed DPW recently installed a pedestrian crosswalk signage on Old Post Road, Boulevard of Eagle. So that's what it is. And crossing guard, Mrs. White already mentioned it. I don't want to repeat it.
Thank you. Mr. Romano, you want to? Special ed.
Yes. I really can't discuss this only because I believe that Mr. Toohey has information that we really haven't discussed in open yet. But I can tell you that we are very excited with the Special Ed Committee. And probably by the next meeting, we will have a complete report with Mr. Toohey. Just don't want to I would rather have Mr. Toohey do it, because the information that he has is vital to this district.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I thought that Mr. Toohey was going to present to the whole board about this plan.
Yes.
And next month?
It's going to be set for April.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
April?
So
Okay.
we'll work on that when, when we see the presentation.
Okay. Policy Committee, Mr. Mohin Patel.
Thank you, Board President. The Policy Committee met on Tuesday, March 14, 2023. Present at the meeting were Shannon Pang, Jerry Shi, Joseph Romano, Dr. Aldarelli, Mr. Tooth, Mr. Tom, and Dr. Toohey. The following policies were discussed. Policy 7461, District Sustainability, is on the agenda for first reading tonight. Was it already done? Yes, so it was done. So adopting this policy is a necessary step in the sustainable New Jersey applications in our schools. Designation as a sustainable school opens opportunities for grant funding and partnerships as schools explore means to become more environmentally friendly. This policy aligns with the requirements of the Sustainable New Jersey application. Adopting it will help our schools satisfy the requirements of the application. Specifically, this policy outlines the professional development, physical activity, transportation, purchasing, cleaning, disposal, and storage requirements of the Sustainable New Jersey application, and reflects the steps our schools are already taking to realize this designation. The Policy Committee discussed potential changes to Policy 7250, school facility names, but ultimately decided not to adjust the policy. There is no action item on this policy on this agenda tonight, and the committee recommends that staff contact district administration concerning requests for the dedication of school facilities. Additionally, we have a number of policies on the agenda for a second reading that were discussed and passed on the first reading during the February Board of Education meeting. Some policies are being abolished as they are no longer necessary post-COVID. Others are mandated changes associated with the changes to state law and administrative code, and 2 are recommended procedural changes. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance and Facility Committee, Mr. Shi.
Okay. I apologize again. This is going to be a lot of information. We have a lot of things going on. Finance Facility Committee, we had a meeting on March 8th at 4 p.m. In attendance, myself, Mr. Romano, Mohin Patel, and Vishal Patel, Dr. Aldarelli, Mr. Toth, Mr. Colibus, and our Assistant BA, Mrs. Becky, and also from DMR, Pradeep Kapoor. He is remote. So the committee mainly reviewed the projects that DMR is working on below the status of the project. So we didn't get USA to participate. They were not available. Herbert Hoover, can I use the word gym? Or I should use a phys ed classroom.
Gymnasium, classroom, whatever.
Can I use the word gymnasium?
Gymnasium.
Because the last time you mentioned that if we use gym, that might be an insult to our phys ed teachers. So I
It
just want
is.
to. So what word can I use?
So you're adding a classroom, which is a gymnasium.
So can I use should I use gymnasium or phys ed classroom?
You're adding a classroom, which is a gymnasium.
Okay. I'll use a phys ed classroom then. Herbert Hoover phys ed classroom, $55.6 million estimated. The bid is out, and it's due on April 11th. So I hope the next meeting we can approve the contractor. The planning board and DOE has been submitted. We have a fire alarm that's going to cost us about $500,000. That's related to the building. We want to work with the current system instead of having a separate system. That is a cost. And TJ, we also have the physical ed classroom and front entrance. It's additional other things, including additional bathrooms, boilers, renovation, additional door placement, stage lighting, because the new phys ed classroom is a stage as well. So that total together is $11.5 million. That project will be bid ready in mid to end April. Planning board and DOE submitted. Also, this is a new phys ed classroom. It's very wordy. There's another $500,000 alarm project. JP Stevens, classroom additions, 27 of them, $27 million. It's in the design phase. They call it design, but it's already in the approval process. Because it's a classroom, we have to update our long-range facility plan, which we just approved today. Planning board to be submitted in May of 2023, and the bid ready will be end of June. Other projects at JP, the tennis court and parking lot and the new road from New Dover is about $1.3 million. DMR is doing a due diligence. It's a separate project from the classrooms, but it's part of the expansion. The existing cafeteria, we need to do some upgrading, like lightings and stuff. DMR will provide proposal. The other thing is the auditorium. We all see how outdated this auditorium is. DMR is going to provide a proposal, and the district will need to discuss funding. The other expansion is the long-term solution to expand the cafeteria and adding more classrooms and labs, removing trailers, and relocate the greenhouse. DMR will provide a concept and budget. For both high schools, we have ADA toilet upgrade. It's somewhere around $4 million. It's part of the ROC grant. District will set up the meetings with the school to prioritize the bathrooms until, after we hear where the ROC grant is. If we get ROC grant, we can push it quicker. We need to put generators at JP and the BOE central office. It's also part of the ROC grant. The committee also suggests administration to move one trailer not being used at Marshall to JP to alleviate the classroom overcrowding. Edison High, again, ADA bathroom upgrades, about $5 million. The budget and schedule, the ROC grant, again, district need to wait for that to make the final call. The ROC grant, the anticipated result, we're going to hear it somewhere on March 1st, and we proposed 14 projects. I think the total dollar amount is somewhere around $16 million. The ESIF solar project, they're working on DOE and planning board applications. They're planning to go to April planning board for that, for a courtesy presentation. Woodrow Wilson and John Adams, locker rooms renovations, To educational spaces, a proposal submitted somewhere around $1.7, $1.8 million. A committee asked the architect to initiate discussions with the principals and the leadership in the school for the additional classrooms. A committee also requests USA to review the internal design of the 2 phys ed classrooms with the committee at next meeting. So we all saw the presentation. We had some questions for them. James Madison Primary, the kitchen.
Bless you.
DMR provides scope proposal. BOE need to find the budget. This should be a high priority project. I don't know why it was not done, but let's make sure that it's done before the September. Edison High and John Marshall. Committee requested to have architects setting up scope meetings with the principals and staff of each school to design the phys ed classroom and their classroom expansion. I just want to say that moving forward, when we do these stuff, let's put the the common spaces with the classroom. The classroom is important. We cannot just concentrate on the common spaces and not on the classroom where the teachers have 30 students in there, and we cannot offer some of the courses. The James Madison Intermediate, USA already had the initial design, so the committee asked USA Architect to review the initial design with the committee at the next meeting with a goal to submit the conceptual design soon. So the meeting adjourned at 6:15, submitted by me. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Xu. I just have quick comments. I'd really like us to keep the word, just my opinion, gym instead of phys ed classroom, because it's just simple, clear. I don't think anybody will be offended by that, actually implying that phys ed teacher would be offended by that. I think this kind of simple manipulation is more offensive than anything else.
I agree. Can I make a comment?
Sure.
So, Mr. Sri, can we add a note, 16 million in the ROD grants, just to let public know that that's the total number of clients? It's a win, right? It's a hard work by administration and board to make something happen, so.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around 16, maybe 16.
Whatever the number is, right?
Yeah,
I just want to
But
clarify.
the raw grants will have, if we're successful, we can get paid 40% of that. So that's a lot of money. If we get that money, it's free money, we can move our money around for other projects.
Yep, and I think I have a comment for Mr. Toth and Dr. Aldrali. Can we make sure the architects are present when we meet? We do once a month meeting, and in my mind, it's not acceptable. They say they're not available. Like all the board members are spending their valuable time, and they have to be present. USA as well as DMR. Right? DMR was virtual. We need them to be there when we are there. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you.
Noted.
Yeah, we had a bad connection that day, so made the meeting really not productive and prolonged the meeting.
Yep, thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Board President, if I may add to it.
Yeah.
I just want to thank the Facilities Committee to bring up a lot more issues for the classrooms to be brought up, and we're actually emphasizing a lot more on classrooms instead of other issues. So we're trying to alleviate the problems that we have, which is overcrowding. So it's good to see that we're doing that now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board President?
Mr. Rivera.
Question with the ROD grants, the 14 projects. If we don't get, let's say the ROD grant doesn't work out, are any of the 14 projects in dire need that we have to replace immediately?
No, a lot of them are like air conditioning and stuff like that. It's, if we get it, we'll do it. If not, we'll put it in, we'll prioritize it and with other projects.
I just wanted to make sure if there was a need, that the need is made.
Of course, anything's needed, we got to get it done. And as I said, the JMP kitchen should be done last year, and I don't know why it wasn't, but that's in dire need. If you go to JMP, you will see. It's been many, many years.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board President?
Yeah, Mr. Schneider.
Through the chair, I just have a question, Mr. Shi. When you look at the kitchen expansions, is that an investment that we're partnering with Machio's on?
Machio only provide, I'm sorry? Marshall only provides the kitchen equipment. The outside, the shell is separate.
So any budget line items that we see here is just for essentially the 4 walls and the utilities, and then they outfit the kitchens?
That's everything. But the kitchen equipment will be coming from the money that Marshall provides back to us. So it's not going to be coming out of our regular budget line.
Do they give us that money on a regular basis, or are they waiting for us to be a catalyst of a project that needs to be done?
So it's based on how many meals they serve. And last year we had a good year. If I recall, we probably received somewhere north of $1.8 million from Marshall. And this year the participation rate is a bit lower, so we got to figure out what we're getting out of it.
I would just suggest that I know you're also the chair of the food committee. We have
Yes,
not
I will
met.
have a meeting.
We're now, a quarter of the way through the year, or however you want to look at it. I think it's time that we should meet, so I respectfully ask that you call a meeting at some point before our next board meeting.
Oh, that's planned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Curriculum Committee, Mr. Vishal Patel.
Okay, thank you. Give me a second. Okay, Curriculum Committee had another crazy busy month. The committee met twice, on March 1st, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., and on March 9th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Attendees were Vishal Patel, Ms. Shannon Pang, Mr. Biral Patel, Mr. Jerry Shree, Dr. Alderelli, and Ms. Gail Polikowski. Number one thing that was discussed was the high school program of studies. High school grouping procedures were reviewed, and the plan is to add a standardized test as a part of the high school grouping procedure by September 2023 for the school year that starts September 2024. It's too late for us to make that change this year, but it will be made for the school year starting September 2024. Second, we are going to be making the change in the high school program of studies for 2 subjects. On page 30, there's a class for computer science. We will remove the prerequisites for Java as a programming for taking a computer science class. There's another class called Computer Science AP, and Computer Science Principles. We are going to be changing the prerequisites for this program. There's a prerequisite that says successful completion of any programming language or computer science course, or pass an Edison School in-house test or department approval. So that will be the change made next year. The next topic that was discussed was middle school AB schedule. I believe Ms. Gail Polikowski gave a summary of it, but I'm still going to review it here. And one thing that she used, she calls it that we are not going to go back to AB schedule, but we will move forward. And we will move forward by offering music to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students every day instead of every other day throughout the school year, by offering world language to all the 7th and 8th grade students to every day instead of every other day throughout the school year, and by offering a win, what I need period to the students. Administration is also exploring the possibility of offering additional elective class to the 9th grade students at J.P. Stevens. And I'll share more details in the next meeting minutes.
Both high schools.
Correction, that's correct, both high school. Thank you. And the last, Dr. Alderelli, Ms. Pang, and Mr. Shi are in discussion to offer the math summer program to teach algebra and pre-algebra to middle school students in July 2023. This is a first-of-a-kind pilot program for students, by students. The program will be run by Edison students and governed by Edison School District. The school administration will share the details in the next, of the program next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? Oh, it's not here. Are they ready? Oh, okay. Yeah, before that, I just want to comment the curriculum committee. Great job, I think the AB schedule, we not only get it back, we make it better. Now that the middle school students are going to have full day, most of them, 7th, 8th, language and music. So I think our high school music teacher will be happy that their feeder program is going to be stronger. So our music program in high school will be better in the following years, I believe. Joe, you have your library committee?
Very short. We had a meeting, a town council meeting. The library started talking about their 2019 audit. And I said, what happened to 2020? And what happened to 2021? And what happened to 2000? Well, they said the township and our attorneys are working it out. They're not giving us information, and we're not giving them information. So I asked immediately that we go to closed session. I can't really discuss what was discussed in closed session, but by the next meeting, I'm going to get an answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. So now we have board member comments. Anybody? Mr. Schneider?
Yes. Well, I can go after you.
Go ahead, Mr. Patel, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Vishal Patel.
I typically don't make comments, but I have 4 comments to make today. I want to wish everybody happy Holi. It's a Hindu festival that has been celebrated for ancient times. On this day, friends and family get together and then play with the color. They throw color on people's face and clothes. So I want to wish happy Holi to everybody. I've been visiting a lot of elementary, middle, and high schools with Dr. Alderelli, and he also set me up for lunch with different school students. And I'm learning a lot. I'm getting a lot of suggestions from the principal and students. And I want to share one of the suggestions that I got, and I was able to collaborate with Dr. Alderelli and administration and implement that. So at one of the high school, I think both the high school, one of the students reached out to me saying, we cannot connect our personal phone and personal devices to the school internet. And it would be nice if you allow us to connect, use the school internet on the personal phone and devices. And I said, why would you want that, right? Your district-provided device connects to the school. And then he goes like, in an after-school hour, when the school ends, the school has a bad cell phone signal, and they cannot call their friends and families to collaborate for clubs. Even they cannot use their devices for the clubs and after-school activities. So I took that issue to Dr. Alderelli and Mr. Barca, and then I'm a technical guy, so I said, can we open up a new internet connection that opens up or becomes available to high school students after 2:30 p.m. And Dr. Alderelli and school administration was able to implement that in less than a week. So as of I think a couple of weeks back, both the high schools have an internet connection for all the students after hours. So the internet connection becomes available at 2:30, and it goes down at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. in the morning. So I think that's amazing suggestion loop that we were able to implement very quickly. That started an idea of how do we get more suggestions like that from Edison residents. And I'm working with Dr. Alderelli to gather those suggestions to better our Edison school district, going forward. So it's not only this board member and administration thinking about what we can do to make the schools better. And I'm going to have Dr. Alderelli give more details about it. Any comments, Dr. Alderelli?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, the idea was sponsored by a student, brought to our attention, and we capitalized on it. And Mr. Barker said, what a wonderful idea. We actually expanded on it and enhanced it to provide the opportunity for both high schools. And we think this is something that we'd like to move forward with, right? Part of any district's or Board of Education's process is to elicit feedback from the members of its community. That's teachers, administrators, students, parents, and the community at large. Many ways of doing that would be informal surveys or formal surveys, things along those lines, part of a strategic plan. Could also come out of our communications committee, so we're looking at all options to make sure that our community voices are heard in a manner that's concrete and actionable, right?
Yep, thank you, Dr. Alderelli. I have one more thing. I was able to attend a high school show called Grease last week at J.P. Stevens, and I'm not a high school musical guy, but I loved what I saw. I mean, it was amazing work done by choreographers, directors, stage managers, sound, lighting, scene setup, dance, and costume teams. And big kudos to all the actors. My personal favorite actors were Danny, Sandy, Kenny, and Rizzo. kids acted really well. I think it was a 9-yard perfect show last week. So if you get an opportunity, I would highly recommend to see that. And I think I have a question for Ms. President. As you know, I'm a chair of athletic committee, and I'm getting questions by a lot of cricketing team on how to register the ground, because it seems they're not able to reserve the ground right now, because I think they're being told wait for the BOE to tell them how to reserve the grounds. So any comments on that?
Madam President? can I-
Yeah, Mr. Shi.
Yeah, so we briefly discussed about this. So let's follow the current policy, right? If any of the team who wants to play on a school ground, they contract with the school. I know there are also 2 fields that's owned by the township. If they want to play on the township fields, they follow whatever the township process. So, as far as a fee, we keep the same as last year. I think it was $500 per season. And we talked about, using the fee that we collected. I think we collected somewhere about $18,000, if I correctly.
That's correct, last year.
So since now this year we have the cricket in our curriculum, let's see if we can use those money to build this, the better pitches instead of the dirt ones. And I will think this is probably, you can call it a PPP, the private partner, public-private partnership. And we're using the funds to, instead of coming out of our budget, and these people let, the fund to support the program that, we have for our kids. And, it's a win-win for both sides.
Thank you, Ms. Shi.
Yeah, and I just want to add, I think by signing up with the school, this way we can guarantee our students would always have the first priority, because we know which field are used by who, by our students and when. So this way we can guarantee our students always gets to use the fields first.
Yeah, but I think it's an excellent idea, right? So that by the time next year our students will start using those fields, or hopefully we can, improve the pitches before that. So
Yeah,
that's great. Thank you.
that's the plan. Anybody?
I'll go
else?
next.
Mr. Biro Patel?
Yes. So, since you said about Holi Vishal, this spring, welcome spring. So, happy spring to everyone. Looking forward for wonderful weather and everything else in spring. Dr. Elderly, good job on the calendar, putting out the Board of Education action meeting thing. That will be very helpful. A lot of people brought to that attention, and that's going to be very helpful. And when they download this information on the smartphone, it's going to be all handily available. So thank you for that. One of the things I want to mention regarding to the calendar is oftentimes people mention about holidays, that why is this particular holiday not included. We always have an exemption for any religious holidays. So it's a website, nj.gov/education/holidays.html. So all the religious holidays, anyone can ask for an excuse absence that day from the schools. So one of the things I would suggest here is, if Dr. Eldrali, if we can put that link on our website where calendar is with exempt holidays, religious excuse absences with a link, so it will help people to be, or we can also point people to the direction when they ask this question.
Once we publish it online, that link will be right next to it.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that will be very helpful. The best thing, this is about this whole month, March, is Read Across America, and this is something that I look forward to ever since I became a board member. I read in every single school, in many classes, more than one class, sometimes 3 classes in every single school. So that accounts to hundreds of students in Edison. It was one of the best experience I always cherish, and I'm very proud and feel very privileged being a board member to read to the students. Every single classes, when I read to the students, I did mention that the best thing I like about being the board member is Read Across America, because that's when we get a chance to see all of you. It was a very good experience. All the schools, everyone did a great job. All the students were terrific. So at every single school, I saw the dedication of our educators in order to manage the entire class over there and keep the children energetic, enthusiastic. Some of the classes have like 26, 27, 28 students. That's a lot of number of students. But I have seen all the educators doing a fantastic job over there, managing all of that. This is a testament to our extraordinary commitment to our staff, parents, and all the students towards their education and pursuit of excellence. So kudos to all the staff members, all the educators who did a wonderful job, and I really witnessed that. And the students are, when they go in all these classes, they put a lot of energy. It was very thrilling to see all of this. So thanks to all the teachers for the great job, all the wonderful students who put a lot of passion into their education. One incident that I would not forget, and it was very important, worthwhile mentioning, is while reading at Lincoln School, accidentally a student knocked off fire extinguisher, right? I was reading in one of the classes, Mr. Lewis's class, and I had to go out of the building along with all the students, all the educators, all the staff members, the principal, and everyone else. Several fire trucks were on the premises. What I witnessed that day is an excellent job done by principal, Mr. Scully, all the staff members, all the educators, escorting out everyone, bringing them out in the line. The temperature was cold. It was not that easy to stand outside. All the teachers managed to, have the students do not feel that they are outside standing in the cold. Some of them were without jackets because everyone had to rush out in few seconds. But they really managed very well to keep everyone calm. The scene was really, I was really taken aback with the scene because nobody felt the difference. There was no chaos. And when the students went in, the flow of how they all went in was tremendous. I can't even describe that. I was probably expecting when everyone goes in, there will be some kind of chaos, but the arrangement was wonderful. After that, when we went inside, Dr. Eldrali was there, and Mr. Toth, you were also there. All of our administrators work extremely hard. I would like to give special kudos to Mr. Kolibas. Mr. Kolibas went around the building, checked everything. Mr. Panindra Mahabir, you were there also. And all of them in few minutes checked everything in and out. Few hallways were closed, but tremendous job done by our administrator. They made sure nobody was impacted. The communication was done in a very nice way. Everything was checked out, and within a couple of hours, everything was back to normal. I'm pretty sure the classes are open now, right? It was cleaned and it was open. So the reason I mentioned this, I felt like maybe I bored some people, but it's something to witness some incident like that, and the commitment of our educators, our administration and superintendent and everyone else. That's something that I feel that everyone stepped up and did a great job that particular day. So kudos to everyone. So it was very nice to see that. Not that the incident happened, we don't wish any other incidents happen, but everything was handled without any impact to anyone. So thank you everyone for that. So that being said, once again, all the students, staff members, teachers, everyone do a great job, and few more months left for the end of the school year. Very soon the wonderful part starts, all the field trips and all the field days and all the parties later on. So looking forward for that one. Thank you so much.
Board President?
Mr. Mohin Patel.
I would like to ditto the kudos that Biral gave out to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board President?
Mr. Schneider.
Yes. Just a couple things. First of all, I just wanted to, publicly, I privately talked to Joe before, but publicly say how pleased I am that all of these projects are moving forward. The Finance and Facilities Committee is doing a great job moving this ball down the field, so to speak. And, there's a lot of good projects here. The one thing that I see missing that I'd like to address, I'd like to ask you to address in your committee meetings is air conditioning. So it's something that last year, one of the thoughts was to pick 1 or 2 schools per year as the budget allows and cool them. And, with this many schools, it might take 10 or 20 years to get everyone cool. but I think it will improve the quality of life for our teachers, for our students, for everyone that works in these buildings. And I think it's important to think about cooling buildings. Now, we're also coming off of COVID when ventilation was very important and the health of, and air quality was very important. And I'm certain that most of these classrooms we have that haven't been touched in so long, it's not that pleasant to teach, especially if you're wearing a mask or if it, I mean, if you go into any classrooms these days, many of the students are still wearing masks. So, you know, I would respectfully ask this committee to just look at, with our additional state funding, now would be a good time to have those discussions. I know I'm not saying to do a huge, huge project that would span the whole district, but I think it would be nice to have a plan to cool the classrooms over time. Thank you.
Board President, if I may,
Yeah,
just respond a little bit. Although I do agree we do need air conditioning, the 6 weeks out of the year that we do need the air conditioning, I don't think that we should be sacrificing our classrooms at the moment first before we work on that. So first priority we're giving is for the classrooms. If we get the classrooms, the new classrooms will have air conditioning, and that will ease the flow in the hallways as well and help cool the building as well. So I agree, we do need air conditioning, but we need classrooms first, and we need air conditioning after. 6 weeks out of the whole year, I think we could deal with it for a little bit. Thank you.
Board President, just for the record, I'm not suggesting we don't do classrooms so we can air condition. What I'm suggesting is we could walk and chew gum at the same time, and air conditioning buildings one by one would be a smart way to spend money. Thank you.
Okay. I think as far as I understand, it's not just air conditioning, right? You can't just add a window unit. I think it, maybe our old wire system or, you know, the electrical cannot take that, so it's not just adding a unit. It's much more work than that, as far as
If I remember last year, they used I think it was $3 to $5 million for an average building that we have. I'm not talking about the high schools. I'm talking elementary, et cetera.
Okay.
There's also $86 million that you guys talked about last year with air conditioning. So I would definitely like to add air conditionings, but priority will be classrooms.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have to discuss the priority. Agree. Any other? So,
Madam President?
Mr. Rivera.
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize Happy Holi as well. You know, I'm just doing my research and looking at it. Opens a new beginning from past error, serving as the end of conflict, and also a day when people forget and forgive. So I think that's an awesome holiday. So I want to recognize that. But my only question I have is, I know that last couple of weeks I've been negotiating my new contract in my district for my association. I was wondering where we're standing with the contract in regards to Teachers Association, because I believe the contract is up. So if we have we met, have we discussed? Where are we with that?
I think the first meeting is tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Glad I asked. Thanks.
Yeah. Same time.
Is there a committee from this board meeting with the teachers?
It's a team that, 4 board members, it cannot be over 4, so 4 members.
And who are those board members meeting with the teachers union?
I think it's Jerry Shi, Mr. Joe Romano, Mr. Vishal Patel, and Mr. Mohin Patel.
Thank you.
And
Madam
I
President?
did, oh, Mr. Shi?
Yeah, so, Dr. Already, we mentioned about this for many, many months. Residency verification. We talked with students. Can we get the meeting set up? So we give them some sample data so they can start programming, because the summer is coming up. They might have some spare time on their hand. If they can look into whether they can be done or not, we need to do the residency verification, no matter what. You know, it's been dragging for very long. So if we can have Mr. Barker or Mr. Benedict get some data prepared, sample data, so they can look into it.
We have our first initial meeting for this Thursday with that group of students. Involved is going to be Mr. Barca, Mr. Benedict, and Mr. Franklin as well, our data analyst. So.
All right, you read my mind.
Great.
So the other thing is about the calendar. We implemented the downloading of the calendar. You can go there and download onto your phone or on your home devices onto your own calendar. And the link is not very clear. Can we put a little icon or something at the download link?
The link itself?
Yeah,
Sure.
just a little icon so people know, this is it. Right now, it's just a blank, it's a download, but little icons is easier on the eye. The other thing is, Mr. Vishal Patel mentioned, thanks to the administration for the quick actions. We heard the concern from the students. They need to connect to their personal devices after hours online. So we all know in this building, especially in the high school, the connection is really bad if you're in the middle of somewhere. Instead of having them coming all the way to the outside of the building to find a signal, they can connect to their, this particular after-school connection, and so they can use the Wi-Fi, to call or something to make it easier, especially when the weather is just bad or raining. So thank you for the administration to quickly come up the solution and give out all the instructions as well. I just want to mention something that today, I think the Edison High School football players, they received some new hardware. It's a beautiful ring for their championship, right? Is that today?
I believe it was today.
Yes. So congratulations to all the kids and all the coaches and for all the hard work you put it in, and also the parents. All these hard work and these kids, 15 years or 16 years that we got this. And every time when you put this ring on your fingers, you will remember this for a very, very long time. So it's a beautiful ring. I'd just say congratulations to the Edison High School football team. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go. So last Sunday, board member Jerry Shi and I had the honor to be invited to the first ever New Jersey area drone competition. And of course, as Edison board member, we are very, very proud that it is our Edison students and our Edison coaches that organized the whole event. And these kids started really from a garage a few years ago and grew into a club that's like, I think 40 students. Most of them are, I think, majority of them are coming from Edison. And I really like to use this opportunity to recognize some of them who won some excellence awards, and they're all Edison students. And apologize if I pronounce the name wrong. So there's excellent awards winner, Harsh Nahalani, Krishiva Mata, Divya Krishna. And there's Inspire Awards winner, Sharavi Bakhav, and Niha Nagud, Talika Punia. And there's autonomous flight champions, that's Sarah Dash, Yana Makawana, and Haya Aguara. So I just like to say congratulations, kids. Keep doing the good job, keep flying those drones and flying your dreams. And last, I just have two quick announcements for the coming meetings. Caucus meeting Thursday, April 13th at Ed Center, 7 p.m. Public meeting April 18th, Edison High School, 7 p.m.
Madam President, I missed one thing.
Yeah.
I missed one announcement. This is for the J.P. Stevens Chamber Orchestra. Congratulations to the J.P. Stevens Chamber Orchestra for placing the first runner-up at the National Orchestra Cup at New York City Lincoln Center on March 4th. So a total of 7 teams from the whole country, and we are the first runner-up. The members of the New York City, NYU music faculty and the Metropolitan Operas they were judging the competition. It's not me and Vishal, it's these professionals. So the JP Chamber Orchestra was also awarded the most original music with a piece titled Eterna, an Indian reel written for the orchestra and composed by Kip Jones. Sophomore and the violinist Olivia Wong received the Best Soloist. We're all very proud of our students, and congratulations to Dr. Verdi and Mr. Lee. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'd like to start public comments. I see some kids.
Shannon,
Oh,
can
you
go,
have,
and then-
okay, yeah.
Perfect, awesome. Thank you, Board President. All right, so something in similar lines to what Board President mentioned with that program is something the students achieved outside of our regular curriculum. So we have some wonderful students here: Mir Patel, Ishan Nagpal, Ved Dwivedi, Ishan Gai, and Arya Vora from John Adams Middle School, and Pranav Devrapalli from Wood Wilson Middle School. They all came together as a team to participate in the first Lego League competition. The competition tests the skills and programming and design of robots, robotic performance, and all the innovation skills. This team, their name is Make E-Minds. They prevailed over 300 other teams that competed in the whole New Jersey. In this journey, this team, Make E-Minds, they won a range of awards, including Innovation Project in the regional competition, a robot performance in the regional competition, and a Champions Award, which was given to them in the North New Jersey Championship Tournament. Now, they are more significantly, they are the only New Jersey team who were invited to the Western Age First Lego League event in California. Only one who qualified from New Jersey. We could not recognize them because it's outside of the curriculum in the student recognition, but that's why they are here. Their achievements are ongoing from last 3 months. But principals, both the middle school principals, Mrs. Valentine and Mrs. Blevins, recognize their achievements in the newsletter, so we are very thankful for them. It's due to these students' sheer hard work and commitment that they have excelled and exciting and in all this challenging area, and brought some pride by winning all these awards. So on March 18th, this Saturday, they also organized an outreach event at Mini Beeville Center where a lot of residents attended. And they created a significant impact by inspiring the next generation of STEM professionals and fostering the important skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and collaboration. Without any further delay, I would like to ask the students who are here to use the public comments time and mention about their program. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for introducing us. We are Team Make E-Minds, a robotics team that participates in FLL. So what is FLL? FLL is a STEM competition that fosters these STEM skills through engineering skills and building robots. They also help with logic skills by making students solve problems, and there's many core values that come to play. So FLL has 4 main parts: innovation, robot game, robot design, and core values. In the innovation part of FLL, teams have to identify a problem which adheres to the theme and create a solution to that problem. So for us, this year, we identified the problem of energy costs being high, stress on power plants, low transparency between power plants and consumers, and the electricity bills are high. So we created an app called Artec that would solve all of these issues by creating real-time prices, and there would be a future graph and past 12 hours graph. And what these graphs would help show is tell customers to shift their electricity uses to non-peak hours. And this helps because it shows the people that they should be using electricity at these low times, where this makes less stress on power plants. And it also helps the consumer as they're saving more money, and it breaks the ice between the consumer and the power plant. So next is Robot Game. And in Robot Game, teams have to design a robot to complete missions around the map in a 2-minute, 30-second time field. So we actually, in our first competition, we got first place in Robot Game, earning us an award. Next up is Robot Design, which is very closely correlated to Robot Game, and teams have to talk more about their robot and how it was used throughout the map. And lastly are core values. So core values are the foundation of FLL and all of its parts, and they're used in the meetings and the competition, and we strive to use them in our real lives. So yeah, and this season, some of our awards are that in our qualifier event, we won the Robot Game Award and the Innovation Project Award, which helped us go to a regional event, where we did outstanding in all 4 areas and won the runner-up champions award, which sends us to the Western Edge Open event. And in this open event, we are one of 300 teams to go there, representing New Jersey. And this is a big achievement for us, as only 80 teams worldwide are going, 25 international teams, and the rest US teams. So to add on to this, we are also planning to give back to the community, and we had an expo last Saturday where we taught kids how to code and showed them how easy it was, and showed mentors how they could start their own FLL teams. And to add on to this, we also mentored 5 FLL teams, and one of these teams actually got 3rd in Robot Game, which we are very proud of as a team. So it's an honor to be here, and thank you for supporting us.
Good job.
Board President, I want to say congratulations to you guys and also the parents for encouraging their outspokenness and actually doing a lot more than playing video games and, you know. Good job, guys.
And thank you to the coach as well. Their coach is here,
Coach
Mr.
as well.
Rohit. So thank you so much for doing such a wonderful.
Stand up, coach. Stand up. Stand up. There you go. Stand up. Let's have a camera shot. Okay, thank you.
Madam President,
Yeah.
I just want to say, I wanted to commend you guys for the hard work that you guys do, and also the parents and the coaches. If I could get you guys to speak to my wife and kids and how I could lower my energy bill, I would appreciate it, because that's the first thing that stood out. So again, thank you for your hard work, and continue.
Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Shi.
So I don't know if you guys, heard that we are putting some solar panels in our schools. So maybe I can talk to the vendor to put a meter, for whatever school that we have, to see how much energy that we're saved by using the solar panel. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments? Do we have any other students in the audience? If no, Venkat.
If the students want to go home, that's
Yeah,
fine too,
feel
because
free
it's,
to.
feel free to.
If you want to go
Head
home,
out
do your
anytime.
homework,
Exactly.
feel free.
Madam President, good evening.
Thank you.
So, first of all, I would like to thank Joe Romano and Mo. I think you guys should visit all the schools. I think last month you visited John Adams and Woodrow. So, Joe, please keep visiting the schools and give those rooms. So, I don't care about those gyms and other stuff. Those 2 rooms that John Adams and Woodrow are going to get locker rooms are very, very important. So, thank you again. So, make a visit to more schools and help the schools of the immediate problems. So I don't care about my kid is having an air conditioner for 6 weeks or 4 weeks, doesn't matter. I will teach my kid how to go through those things. So you have to let kids go through the good days and bad days for 4 weeks and 3 weeks. If needed, correct your calendar and let the kids leave 2 weeks early before the summer. Like snow days, 5 days are not used, let 5 days early the school closes. So find an innovative way of reducing the cost, because doing the pilots like EHS TAM or esports of 1 school and 2 schools, you guys already created a lot of divide. So there is a lot of north and south happened in the last 1 or 2 months, and I urge this board to actually fix those things. And Madam President, you know that I argue with you, Jerry and Vishal Patel, Mo and others on the social media. I'm not your friend. I fight for the kids. So people may be thinking that I'm close to you and they don't understand that how much social media that we discuss, debate. I wasn't happy with Vishal what he did last time, but he reasoned his things, but I have to move forward. I think 9 out of 10 things that Vishal has done is fantastic. So while I appreciate, I will still make him held responsible for the 10th one. Whether I get it or not, that is a different story. I think there is a systematic way of explaining that, I support certain board members and I don't support. But I'm sure that if you call Jerry that, Jerry will say that, Venkat is a pain in the neck. Because obviously he doesn't like me calling him. He is. So obviously, I think they're stamping certain people as a pain, but obviously some principals don't like me sending the emails. You can ask that. While you guys are recognizing some students, I haven't seen Quiz Bowl national students are recognized by Mr. Ross in the EHS. Your own school national students are not being recognized. Meeting after meeting, I have to bring it up.
but I'll still continue to fight, argue with you guys. But I think if I need to apologize, I will apologize certain times that I should not have done certain things, the way that I write on the social media. Obviously, it's a movement, and for me, students comes first. If you guys are hurt, let it be. That's why you guys are here. You guys promise that you guys will do something to support the kids. During that process, you guys will get 10 accolades and 20 accusations. That's fine. I think you guys are grown-ups, but kids are ahead. The next one, the library director met me 2 weeks back. And the program that I had was around 174 learners and 94 students are tutoring. And the director has, extended his help that, use the other 2 libraries, main library and others. So they were encouraging. And all I came here was to actually recognize June 21st, to issue the certificates to your own students who are spending 40 to 60 hours to educate. And now some of you guys couldn't digest, and they're trying to throw mud on that program, that voluntary, that middle school students are helping the elementary kids, high school students are helping middle schools. I have made 90 high school and middle schoolers are teaching, which I think I will tell kudos to Vishal that he just announced that in summer he's going to put a bridge courses. I think I don't need my program, because after the bridge course, BOA can take it over and run that program, because I don't want, it's an idea that we took forward and it has an overwhelming response from the parents. And it's shame that one or two of you guys wanted to find fault with the program and trying to accuse just because it is run by somebody. It's shame. And I think I would urge our attorney that at least train these people what to talk in public, what not to talk in public. They use closed sessions to talk about individuals. They don't even have a courtesy of leaving the room if they're talking about personal, in spite of a couple of members have their own family members and relatives. I know one of your board members has 5 family members, working in school, and that person sits in the same room in the closed session. I think at least draw the line, get educated what to talk in the closed room. Don't talk about me, talk about Christo, talk about others in the closed room. And talk about the union contracts in the closed room, not in the public. I think there is no draw that what to talk in public, what not to talk in public. I'm really upset about that. You guys has time to talk about public. You 9 people time in the closed session is more valuable to take care of the staff, not bitch about the public. And if I want, I could find out, I know how much salaries they're getting their family members, how many promotions are given after they become the BOA members. I could actually operate and actually really go and explain to the people, but that is not my term, because I never get into personal. You, as a 9 people doing your job, I will always question you. But if you try to get into personal, and I don't mind going back to your spouses and sisters or whatever it is, I will actually dig deep to that. I just want to tell you, because I'm not angry, I'm telling you that support the things that are done with a positive intent, and accuse me if I'm a Republican, accuse me as a Republican, but don't talk about the good things that are happening. I don't have a bar and restaurant. I don't supply liquor to the politicians. I don't surrender to the mayor to get all these things. And some of your BOA members do that. They surrender themselves to the mayor, Sam Joshi. I don't do that. I don't supply alcohol to the kids. All I'm trying to tell you that is we are only tutoring the kids. And the recreation, thank you, Jerry, for having the cricket and helping them, $500 fine, and putting that back to the things. That is fantastic. Last year, one person ego has drawn that entire cricket sport discriminated, and I truly appreciate you guys taking that up. And the calendar updates are going to come again, because the 5 snow days has to be updated, and hopefully let's take that calendar updates and help the kids, and if needed, avoid some summer. And Dr. Aldrali, my request was last week, I know that it was not answered. Can you speak to, and work with Gail and other principals to explain parents a seminar or a webinar about what is weighted GPA, how does this kid get impacted, and how the overall performance, sports is equally important, The clubs are important. How can we encourage clubs? I think it's more than the students educate the parents with a seminar or webinar so that they will take an informed decision. I think even last week, the decisions of the college placements were really upsetting a lot of parents. And they, in fact, told me, texted me, that we made a mistake of sending our kids to JP because except Rutgers, we don't have a good schools that are going out. And I really would like to have Ms. Quick to come and brag about how many good schools that JP kids got this year. JP used to be, 11 years back when I came here, it was a crown jewel. And today we are not having many IVs of our students going there. So I'll come back, sorry for that, thank you.
Thank you, Venkat.
Ms. President, can I make a comment?
Yeah.
I just want to give a credit of putting the cricket money back into cricket pitches to a couple of residents who plays cricket, and they're talking to me about it, and they say, we don't care, keep the same money, but at least help us improve the pitches, because it's going to help your program next year as well. So again, it's another story about residents coming to me and giving their idea and us implementing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue.
Madam President.
Oh, you want to comment?
So Venkat, 174 students, being tutored, 95 tutors. That's a major, major achievement.
Yes.
Okay, I don't care whoever said that. The people who benefits are the 174 students. We have seen the posts from parents. The students used to get, struggling. Now they're getting A's or A minuses. This shows what the program is, right? And Dr. Ardarelli, we talked about this, when the program gets bigger and bigger, is it possible we can open up our schools to accommodate them? They're in the North Edison Library. Is it possible we have Adams or JP will have a room or cafeteria that can accommodate them? And for the other one that they're having the tutoring in TJ, in the main library, can we have some flexibility in the TJ to accommodate this program? At the end of the day, these are for the kids. It's for the betterment of our students. So keep doing whatever you do. It doesn't matter whoever says that, but the whatever the benefits are our students, and thank you for that.
Madam Board President,
Mr.
if I may add?
Mohanty.
Again, Venkat, I don't know what has been said or who has said it, but I really give you kudos for starting up this program and getting the kids encouraged to do peer-to-peer teaching and learning. This is a very crucial thing, especially when they're seeing a learning loss. It's very much needed, and I'm glad you're taking the front foot and doing it. And I don't care what anybody says, you are doing a great job, and thank you. And whatever we can do to help you, we'll do it. Thank you.
If you can also expand your program with SAT courses and help more people, that would be great.
SAT, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sue.
Susan Campione, Edison. Just a comment and a thought. The comments are on Woodrow Wilson for the opening of the new traffic pattern. It has been put out in Monday Minders in the schools to all of the parents over and over and over again. A new traffic pattern has to be developed, and I think that the thought is not to do that in the middle of the year and to start that in September. And the other thing, you guys know better than anyone, no construction project is a little project, and there's always issues that come up. And what happens if you start this while we're in school? There's no other way in and out of Woodrow Wilson. And if they're working by Gloria, the buses can't get in, they can't make that turn. And the parents, if you haven't been to Woodrow in the morning or the afternoon when school is getting in and out, stop by, because it's a nightmare. And if you're doing construction there, the other day, Woodrow Wilson Drive was closed because a wire came down, and luckily Gloria had that little opening, and we were able to get in and out of there during the day. But if they're doing construction, you can't take that chance because we will never get in and out of the school. So I think doing it over the summer when the kids aren't there, and then opening it fresh in September was the plan and what's been conveyed to the parents, and I don't think there's any misunderstanding about that. The other thing is, I live off Talmadge Road and actually have the original plans for all of that area. And that piece of land that's been talked about over and over was supposed to be shopping center for the senior housing that's right adjacent to it, which of course almost 30 years later I'm sure is never going to happen. And I know that it's probably not big enough for a regular school, but the governor has been pushing, and we all know that universal preschool is going to be mandatory. Some of the school districts like South Plainfield have already gone in that direction. Why not build a preschool there? You wouldn't need as much land, and we're going to need classrooms for the preschoolers because it's going to be the law. So that's just a thought that, I don't think it's big enough to, with parking and all that, for a regular school, but a preschool may be the way to go, especially if the town is giving us the property. Thank you.
Board President?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thank you for that comment, and I really, I would say, you know what, if the mayor wants to give us the property without any conditions, I am more than willing to take it. No problem, if and buts about it, but he just talks about it. I need action. If he wants to give us the property, let their council vote on that $8 million, $9 million that they want to pay for it, give us the deed, and we'll be very happy to put whatever we need to do to put there. So ball is in the mayor's court to get that property to us, and not just say it, not just keep on saying, oh, we're going to get the Board of Ed this property. We're going to give the Board. He's going to say that for years and years before, when he's done mayor, he's going to still say that. So what I want to do is put the deed in our hands, and we'll be happy. Thank you. Without any conditions.
Thank you. Crystal?
Thank you. Am I recognized?
Yes, you are.
Thank you very much. First, I want to congratulate Councilman Richard Brescher, Robert John Kentos. I want to also congratulate you, Shannon, Vishal, and Mr. Joe Romano. And I want to congratulate the EDO as a whole for having such a transparent process. And those who won deserve to win. There's going to be brighter futures ahead. Congratulations. Shannon, you're a beautiful role model, great role model for the children. And, the three of you, especially you, Jerry, true American patriots. God bless you. There's some things I want to speak about. The mayor slandering BOE members in the newspaper. He slanders his political rivals. He slanders residents. Who writes this in the newspaper? People like Cassidy Graham, somebody that was paid $100,000 in our own tax dollars to slander residents, BOE members. There's no red line with this guy. And what's the complaint? It's a fake outrage complaint saying they claim a member cursed. Rosenfeld versus New Jersey are allowed to curse. Somebody should IA report the police officer who threatened, intimidated to arrest somebody for doing a lawful activity. And quite frankly, God bless this board, because there's a lot of allegations that are going out that we might not want this specific individual around the children at this moment in time. God bless you for that. It's very easy to slander people, but when the truth comes out, the truth finally comes out. Oprah requested that footage. The police claimed it doesn't exist. And then when I said, oh, I've seen video of this footage elsewhere of a police officer escorting Mohin out, all of a sudden it switched from it doesn't, because I wanted an IA report, the cop's not wearing the body camera. All of a sudden, not only it exists, they've seen it, but we still can't get it. But members of the media that are supported by Sam Joshi, they get this. Why didn't that video come out with that news article link? That seems kind of strange. Could it be because it makes Shannon and yourself look like the heroes that you guys are? I got something to say to Doug, through the chair to Doug. Doug, you want to talk about air conditioning? You want to talk about the HVAC units? Please stop using this meeting for your political talking points to attack those you don't like. You had all year last year as BOE president to address that issue. Why didn't you address it then? Mr. Romano just came on the board a few months ago. I find it, a little bit outrageous. Brian, your comments on equity. The last meeting, anytime I hear somebody talk about equity, CRT, DEI, that's all racist. It's all founded in racism and radicalism. I think you should take it and go back to Perth Amboy with it. When you go and you see the Perth Amboy School District, who do they hire? Racist teachers like Jimmy Dabrowski, a white man who actually hates white people. These are the people teaching your children. Then you look at who the county superintendent is. Another racist, a BLM supporter, trans supporter, who likes Facebook posts promoting violence against police officers. These are the racists and the radicals, and then you wonder how they're sexualizing your children? Just look who they have in charge of your children's curriculum. And, absolutely disgusting. Greek Independence Day is March 25th. One of you have time to mention something about that. Thank you for giving those kids unlimited time. Shannon, you're a true American patriot. I just want to say, the mayor uses township employees, cops, even council members to go after BOE members, to go after me, to go after people like Councilman Brescher. They're forcing them to violate people's rights all the time. So, I want to tell some of you people, I know the mayor is forcing you guys to create fake outrages and to say people are cursing when they're not cursing. Stay in your lane. He mostly does this to females, so I'm not upset about it, but that's called coercion. You should Google it, and you should check it out, making somebody do something they don't want to do, and forcing somebody to do something that's illegal. Absolutely disgusting. I'm going to come back up here for my rebuttal. I know I can stand up here and speak however long I like, but I respect the rules, laws, policies, and procedures, so when my time clicks, I will be sitting down. I don't take advantage of anything.
Good job, Crystal.
I love you, Jerry. God bless you, bro. But Doug, honestly, take that equity, that critical race theory, that DEI, take that radical Democrat nonsense, bring it back to Perth Amboy where it belongs. Just take it right back to Perth Amboy with the rest of the racists. When you look at Project Veritas and the videos that they're, not only are they exposing the critical race theory and the DEI, we're talking about people that are coming in to give children condoms, sex devices. I understand, Jerry, but this is the agenda going on, and we have to stop it. It's our job as members of the community to stop it. And the last thing I want to say is that program Venketta's running for the kids, that's a Republican-run program. Why haven't the Democrats ran a program up until now? Why do the Republicans have to do everything? God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. He will be back 2024. He will be back.
Can I make a comment, Ms. President?
Beth.
So, I want to make a request to all the residents. Please talk about only the Edison schools and how you can make it better. It doesn't matter what other schools do or what the town does. Please, 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 focus on Edison schools during public comments. Thank you, Christo.
Good evening to you all. Beth Talke, Edison, New Jersey. I have a couple questions, different thoughts again, as I'm sitting here. Number one, about the students having access to our servers and to use their phones after hours. Are they logging into their school accounts to get onto these servers?
No.
Or not? Because
As an employee... Can I stop you so you can use your time?
Okay.
It's a separate internet. There's no connection to anywhere. Just they connect to internet. They don't get onto the server. It's on their personal device.
It's like a guest internet connection, and only students can connect to it.
I don't want to waste your time.
Okay, just because I know as us employees here that if I use my personal device, I have to log in, do security and all this stuff, and the kids don't have to.
So only students can log in using the student's ID and password, and it only works after school.
Their school credentials they'll have to use?
No, they can use any of their phone, right, or personal devices, and they don't log into school network. They only get a guest internet access. I don't know if you understand gas internet concept.
Yes, I understand that,
Yeah.
but staff members, we have to, go through it a different way in order to access it. Number two, can I go, Shannon, through you to Jerry? Last month I brought up about, you said you were going to be talking about the Lutheran Church and what was going to happen with that. Start talking about that, being that we own that land and property. Has anything been happening with that? Not yet?
Lutheran Church?
Well, the church across on
Yeah, but it's not
Calvert
Lutheran
Avenue.
Church. But
Well,
I-
it used to be Lutheran Church, that's what I
Why
remember
don't you
growing up
finish
across from Menlo.
your question, then we'll get to the answer.
Okay, about that, if anything's been looked into that. And lastly, I do appreciate all that you do, may not agree with everything that everybody says. You're 9 different voices there, you all have your opinions. But it was a little disheartening tonight to hear that half the board did not even know who was negotiating for the contracts for the employees. It should be, you are a group, you all have your differing opinions. You've had meetings, I'm sure you had a meeting last Thursday night. Everybody should know what's going on as the group up there representing me as a taxpayer, me as an employee here, and also our children here. Please try to do better. Open communication against each other. I know everybody's differing in opinions and stuff, but let's get it together, please, to help the kids instead of this divided board. It was apparent again tonight, and it's just a little bit upsetting to see it. I really hope you guys can all just be open with one another, even behind closed doors. But it's upsetting to see that half know what's going on and half don't. Thank you.
Madam President.
Yeah, Mr. Shi.
So, to answer your question about the church outside the Menlo Park, if you actually hear the presentation from, Mr. Toohey, that will be touched upon. Again, we are looking for what are the solutions we have, what are the properties we have, and if we have a property of Talmadge and Coolidge that's only allowed to build 9th graders, we can't put that into our plan. So when you hear the presentation, you'll hear a beautiful plan that's, we're going to come up with. We're not going to let that property, empty for that. All right, as far as the, I'm not going to bother to answer that question. So.
Yeah, keep it short, thank you.
Good evening. Carol Bonamo, Edison. I would like to applaud the board and Ms. Polakowski for recognizing the importance of world language. I spent my entire career here in Edison as a Spanish teacher, 46 years. And we're getting back to where it was. You may not know the history. When I first started teaching, we had everyday language for 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. It was a junior high school before it became a middle school. Then when we went to the middle school model, we had to figure something out. And I was on that committee, of course. And I fought against the AB schedule because every piece of research shows that time on task is what is important in learning a new language. And so it became the AB schedule, not optimal. The elementary, and it's all, I know, it has to do with time, scheduling, and space to put these classrooms. So I want to thank you for getting the everyday back to 7th and 8th grade. When we get more space, I really look forward to getting that 6th grade. And so, actually, pre-elementary school and middle school language, we were not a special, okay? So let's not call it a special anymore because we need to remember also that in Edison, New Jersey, you need 2 years of a language to graduate from high school. So I really am so happy. Sorry I'm not teaching anymore. But you also mentioned how much language teachers cost these days. That is true because of supply and demand. Before we closed for the pandemic, I was still working, and I was at a workshop, really a conference. And I randomly sat down with this young girl, where are you from? Oh, I'm graduating from Seton Hall. The only one, the only Spanish teacher that year. One of them. I recruited her for Edison. We got her here. We have another young male Spanish teacher, the only one who graduated in his program from TCNJ. So it is a problem. I don't have an answer for that. But even now, when Edison has, for example, teachers going out on leave, we can't find long-term subs for language classes, and unfortunately, they get remote classes. Teachers from JP teaching classes at Edison or teaching classes in the middle school. And that doesn't work for anyone. It's not good for the teachers, and it's not good for the students, of course. So I was happy to hear Ms. Polakowski say that she has some good candidates that perhaps will be able to come to Edison. So yeah, it's supply and demand, I'm sorry to say. One other thing. This is a little history also, and I can't remember because all of my years have sort of gelled together. But in terms of the calendar, it's a little late coming out now, and I think it was pre-Dr. O'Malley. It may have gone away with him. We used to have 3 public readings of a calendar, which made the board think about the calendar earlier. I do believe it might have even been first reading November, second reading December, and then it would be adopted in January. That might have been shifted to February, but it might just be a suggestion for the future to perhaps have 3 readings again. And last thing, Ramadan starts tomorrow. So for everyone who celebrates Ramadan, I don't know if you say Happy Ramadan, but let's just recognize that it starts tomorrow. Thank you, and thank you again from all of us world language teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your coming here to express this, because several board members last year has said our concern that this discontinuance for language or music is not going to work. I'm very happy to hear the expert, as you, agreed with us. Thank you.
And thank you. I do watch every meeting, so I follow what's going on. I just haven't come since the pandemic, but I thought it was important tonight.
Very
Thank you.
important. Appreciate it.
Madam President.
Yeah, Mr. Shi.
I just want to echo the words from Madam President. Thank you for coming in here to advocate for the world language. Very, very simple math, right? Before, AB schedule was 1.5 year for, foreign language. Now it's 2.5 years. And as I said at the last meeting, we try to make it 3 years. So I hope when we get a 6th grader, I'm going to see you here to cheer us up. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
We typically only see the people, what we are doing wrong. So it's good to get advocacy to tell us what we are doing right as well. So thank you.
No, I think there's
No, the other first-timers.
first-timers
yeah.
up there.
The lady, Matt. Sorry.
Matt, ladies
Matt,
first.
lady first. The lady behind you.
Good evening. I'm Kathleen Akatata, Edison. I'm just here to compliment the other high school, Edison High School, my love, for the fine job that they did for their spring musical, high school musical. I don't know if any board member had the opportunity to go over and see it. No one mentioned, but I just wanted to compliment the students, and we have a new director for the play, Ms. Eckhoff. My second point is the school calendar. I agree with the previous speaker about the lack of readings. But my concern is the having staff come in right up against Labor Day weekend on the Friday, and then we come back the Tuesday afterwards for staff development. I'm all about staff development, but I question why, because I've been in town for many decades. I don't remember we ever had school on the Friday of Labor Day weekend. Families plan vacations, kids go off to college. It's the final push, and you know, I think it should be reconsidered. My final point, Mr. Schneider, I thank you for your concerns with the heating and ventilation. Edison High School is an old building, and when you put 30 students in a classroom, it gets very warm, and the heat works very well. Some of my colleagues will attest. I know the man who controls the heat in Edison High, but we do need air conditioning. It's more than just 6 weeks. It is very uncomfortable, and we have students and staff members who have health issues brought on by excessive heat. It still gets warm in September and in October. So I thank you. Good night.
Matt?
Matt Ravnacki, TA Vice President. Good evening, everyone. Just a couple comments I want to make. First of all, I sat home the other night and watched people arguing over gym versus phys ed in classrooms, etc. If you go out in the hallway, and that's why I picked up before, the signs in the front say old gym, new gym, gym A, gym B. They're gyms, but they are classrooms during the school day. So that I want to point out. There is a difference, but I don't think anybody's offended calling them a gym. What they will get offended is if you call them a gym teacher. Their phys ed teacher is the physical education department. We went through this a few years ago with our counselors. Don't call them guidance counselors, they're school counselors. Don't call them home ec teachers, they're family consumer science now. So proper terms really refer more to the departments and the staff rather than the area that they're occurring in. So I hope that we're putting that to rest. But I understand what Mr. Rivera was trying to say as well. It's more about the insult to the person performing the job and the kids in that room than it is the room itself. But they are classrooms during the school day, I should say. Number two, yes, we are starting negotiations tomorrow. I know we sent out an email to our members today about that. And obviously it was announced today here at the board meeting. So I know there's two people that we've sat at the table before with, and that's Mr. Shi and Mr. Romano, going back a while ago though, and two new members. So hopefully our negotiations will go well. You know, for the most part, we've always been respectful to each other, trying to do what's in the best interest of everyone involved. The employees, in our case, our ETA members, both certificated and non-certificated, as well as, most importantly, the students and the district moving forward. So I look forward to meeting tomorrow and setting up some times and dates and all, you know, in the future to start pounding away at it. You know, number three, I want to comment on something that I didn't really intend to talk about. But people that come to the mic, please be careful what you say. Putting down Perth Amboy, I'm a Perth Amboyan. I grew up and was raised there. And it makes it sound like Edison, the way some people just spoke, is elitist and Perth Amboy is a piece of trash. I take offense to that. I had a great education there. I know people that are there, although most of the people have retired or unfortunately are deceased by now from when I was there almost 40 years ago. But it is insulting. And what you say, you know, it has ramifications. So, you know, be a little more respectful to others. You know, if you don't like something, stuff like that doesn't really have to be mentioned. The other thing I like to say, happy spring to everyone. I always look at spring as a renewal, you know, growing flowers and change of seasons, and, you know, fall is like almost a dying off to lead to a renewal. So happy spring to everyone. I know someone has said already happy Holi and Ramadan. I also want to wish everybody out there, because there's not another board meeting, happy Passover and also happy Easter. In about a week and a half, we have a nice spring break coming off, well needed. I know the students need to, you know, rejuvenate and refresh. Anyone who's traveling, please be safe and enjoy the week off. I know our students, just getting done with state testing here. You know, it's been a long stretch without a day off. Unfortunately, we had no snow days to use this year, which I guess is a good thing in a way. But I know the students and staff look forward to, resting up, rejuvenating, and leading into the next testing session. And good luck to everyone out there that are taking the AP tests. That's about a month away. And also we have the second round of testing in mid-May. So there's a lot going on over the next, month or so, but that week off is well needed. The final thing I want to mention, and I know it came up the other day about graduation and the calendar. Yes, I think the calendar needs to come out earlier personally. I don't know if we need 3 readings like we used to. A lot of people, I've heard this from staff that, my spouse has to declare their vacation time in January. And this is putting them back from when they can take vacation. So it's something which may be a little earlier next year. We're talking about 3/4 of the way through March before a calendar is finally approved. February, I think, is actually a good time frame. So hopefully in the future, some adjustment can be made, for that. But in terms of the other day, I know it was brought up about changing graduation of Rutgers. I personally have always been an advocate. I know back even with Dr. O'Malley and even before him, especially now that we have a turf field, is why we're still not graduating at our schools. To be honest with you, we've been doing Rutgers. Rutgers we couldn't get for some time. I remember back in Raritan Center. I was here when high school graduation took place here. And yes, it was horrible when it rained, when we were stuck in the gymnasium. They would feed it into the auditorium via video cameras. I know Ms. White is shaking her head. She probably remembers the same. But with the AstroTurf fields now, I'm a proponent for let's bring it back here. We did it during the pandemic. I've been to every graduation in my 35 years I'm here except for 3, and I thought it went very well. I think there's nothing like graduating on your high school fields, the place you were here for. Rutgers doesn't control us anymore. I'm sure there's a cost savings there. Our people don't have to travel to Piscataway. I personally have always said I think we should have it in the morning. Go out for a nice lunch with your family. The kids can still do the project graduation. And if there is rain, within a half an hour after that, those fields are bone dry. I've played baseball on AstroTurf fields, and that's the way it was. So it's something I think the board should consider moving forward. I know this is something that Mr. Bowden and myself have brought up in the past to superintendents. And I know it's a special day, and Rutgers is a nice facility and all that. But to me, there's still nothing like, I know my kids both graduated from Manalapan High School, and it was on the football field. It was a wonderful event. And I think it also helps our parents, our people. And even if you get that rain in the morning, you have the ability to just change the time, maybe later in the day when the sun comes out. So it's something to consider moving forward. Thank you. Again, happy holidays to everyone, whatever you're celebrating, and for everyone out there, enjoy spring break.
Thank you.
Madam President?
Yeah, Mr. Shi.
So, Mr. Ravnik, if you actually watch the video last meeting, Madam President never brought the word phys ed teacher. She just used the word gym. I agree with it. It's silly to argue that, okay? But she never brought up. Okay, so, whoever brought it up as the issue, I don't know why it was brought up. But you mentioned about the graduation. If you look at the seating capacity of the RAC, it's not called RAC, it's called the Jersey Mike's Arena, it's 8,000 people. Unfortunately, our stadium, and we don't have enough seating for that, so we can probably look into getting more bleachers. But, in order to have a happy graduation, the biggest day for these kids, we try to make that as a experience that they can enjoy, and they can bring as many family members as possible. So, good suggestions, but, unless we have more capacities, that's a reality that we can't do it yet. But we'll look into it.
And I just want to use this opportunity I want to really thank the negotiation team, and back to what has been said before, the previous comments. The negotiation team is not a committee, so it's an ongoing discussion, and the team was actually finalized a few weeks ago. But I do want to thank the team, because they're the only 4 that volunteer for this job. This is a tough job, very time-consuming. That's why my schedule doesn't allow me to do it. But I applaud them for volunteer to do this, and I think we all appreciate their work. That's all.
What's our process for volunteering? You said there were the only four.
Everybody knows that we have a negotiation coming up, so
It's our committee.
nobody ever talks to me about volunteering except the 4 team members.
Right.
That's coming.
Thank you.
And I know that, 2 of the members, including you, Mr. Schneider, would have a conflict, so that's not even possible to invite you to the team
Yes.
at all.
Kudos. I think there's a student that wants to.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening, board members and Madam President. I'm here, I have heard from some of my sources that we might be, for our bio classes in our high schools, we might be going into 2 lab periods or 2 periods in a week. Let me just tell you guys how I know it. How I've had it so far is I've had 2 periods back to back of bio when I had that class, and that was only once a week. And I have heard that we are going to start to do that 2 days a week now, and that might cut into the student study hall or a free period that everyone has. And I feel like I'm not sure what the decision might be yet, but I really feel like that would be very beneficial to the students and to the teachers themselves, as there would be more time for presentations, for classwork, and for just more time to learn in general that the students would be benefited from. And that is my opinion. I'm not sure what you have thought about yet, but I, as a 12th grader in Edison High School right now, that is what I feel like my classmates and my others, the students in my school, will be helped with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comment?
Yeah.
It must be a lucky day for this board, right? We have 2 people coming in saying what we are doing right, so thank you again.
Any other comments? Oh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is the first time when I'm encountering this kind of great people in front of me, so just forgive me in case I'm saying something wrong or right. This is pertaining to a volunteer stuff, right?
Name, please.
I'm sorry. Look, this is the first thing which I just done. My name is Harpreet Singh, and I'm a president of my community, Edison Glen Terrace. And I was just hearing about the volunteership. We had used this kind of a mechanism in our community. Basically, you guys are a board member, so we are also a board member. What we have an advisory committee to us. So I would like to say that I'll start with myself first. So if you need anywhere as a volunteer, just let us know. We'll be happy to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Crystal,
Any other first-timers?
I think we're done.
any first-timers? No? Okay, Crystal, you can go.
Am I recognized?
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to address some of the shameful insinuations made by members of the ETEA. Number one, I love Perth Amboy. Perth Amboy is the most historic place. First black voter was in Perth Amboy. What I said is that you're part of the Perth Amboy School District, that's where you work, and you can take that radical ideology back to that school district where other members that we know, like Jimmy Dabrowski, works there. A white man that believes all white people are racist. All white cops are evil. I would like Jimmy Dabrowski to explain the recent incident where it was actually 5 police officers doing something wrong to another black person, but these so-called people that care about black people's rights will never talk about it. I wanted to talk about the radicals that infiltrate the majority of the teachers' unions. We don't want that radicalization here in Edison as has happened in Perth Amboy, and we can point that out historically and factually. I love Perth Amboy, no doubt about it. We are so educated, they know that they were educated enough to know what they were insinuating, and I find it absolutely abhorrent and disgusting. Now, what Venkat spoke earlier about, what I want to speak about, are, we've came out that the mayor's been sending text messages to council members saying, violate this person, remove these signs. So if he's doing it with members of the council, I can only imagine he's doing it to members here on the town BOE. As I've always known. I always knew he was doing it with Shivi. I always knew he was doing it with Doug, Burrell, Miss White possibly. And I just want to say you this, now that the evidence has came out, I just want to say I forgive you, Doug, and I forgive anyone that broke the law, violated my rights, and you might not know it, but you have been gaslighted. You have an abuser coerced you to do things that you did not want to do and that were illegal, and I forgive you. Yeah, I got 37 seconds left, but I'll use a little extra time because everyone else has. The ETA did. So I'll add myself an extra minute. But yeah, now that this information's coming out, we will be Oprah requesting all your text messages during the meetings. Not only that, I want to bring up the text messages from Tony DePascal, where he was bragging to Mayor Bush, whose law firm represented the whole BOE, that it's a conflict of interest. He was bragging to Mayor Bush when Jerry Shee called him out for leaking confidential information. And then he went back on his text messages, LOL, laugh out loud. Excuse me, Mayor Sam Joshi, excuse me, Library Board Trustee DePascal. What's so funny about leaking confidential information, especially in regards to children? I find that even more disgusting. And people will have to answer for that. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. He is coming back to office. God bless Melania Trump. She's so beautiful in a dress. And right before I sit down, I just want to say, Shannon, you're a role model. Joe Romano, you're a role model. Thank you for removing. They were cordoning off, claiming they needed protection. We got the town council lawyer. We got Council President John Pointer, not just asking police officers to walk them to their car like Doug does. They ask females, a man asking a female to walk him to his vehicle for protection. That's shameful right there. And even though I forgive you, Doug, you should forgive yourself as well.
Thank you, Chris. Venkat?
You're leaving? I just have one suggestion before you leave. So, okay, it's fine, Madam President. Vishal has mentioned to us that, let's not bring the other schools' things here. I just want to tell him that. He should tell the board members, let's not talk about unnecessary things within the board itself. So I hope he follows the same rules instead of advising the public. Because the reason that I say that here is, why the Perth Amboy question comes in is, the board member of Perth Amboy tried to relate every time. I have heard Perth Amboy 5-6 times in the past. And now, talking about that his district as they're having a union contract, now the ETA members are coming and talking about the contract. So is he trying to help 4 to 5% of increment when all the corporates are giving only 1 to 2% increments for 3 years? So is he helping the ETA to get their contract signed, which is supposed to be a closed door discussion, and trying to then immediately their support come in? If they have 1,800 teachers, we have 18,000 students here. So I think as a parents, we have a bigger number, and we would like to observe those things. I don't want to get into personals that which BOE members, family members are going to get the 4 years increment, 10 years increment, and promotions. But certainly, if somebody points fingers at the public, we'll point our fingers at you guys back. So the second thing that I want to talk positivity, because obviously don't delve into too much into negativity. I would like to thank the Vice Principal of John Adams and the Principal of John Adams, Dr. Valentine and Mr. Kelly, for helping a lot of people. My son studied there in John Adams. He got 6 colleges so far and 3 honors colleges with 0 free ride to all the colleges. And one of the John Adams student of my son's friend got into Princeton. Another kid went to UPenn. Another kid went into the other Ivies. All I'm trying to tell you that is my friends, my son's friends, some of them are not in the public school, but 6 of them went to Ivies and they got into top class honors colleges. I think I would like to give the kudos to Valentine and Mr. Kelly for creating that middle school layer and helping the kids to get into good schools. And my request to the board administration, I don't know whether you can involve into it. I sincerely request, don't involve politicians into the school for reading. If Biral is reading, I'm fine, he's a BOE member. But why Mayor Sam Joshi? Why other politicians are coming in? The saga in the newspapers about the Chinese Day, calling the cops in front of it, it's fine, then there is something happened, then they want to politicize it. Do you understand that politicians are using your schools as a playground and throw dirt on the Edison School District and the newspapers? I don't know what kind of powers you have. Please make a policy that I don't want any one of these politicians who are contesting as a council people, who are contesting as a Democratic Party, a Republican Party, very near to my daughter in the school. If that happens, I'm sorry to say this, I'm going to send my legal notices to you guys that you guys are encouraging the politicians to be close to the kids. Stop that one. I sincerely request you that. And the last but not least, I would like to apologize to 3 people, Madam President, to you and Shannon and to Vishal. I know that 3 weeks I've been chasing you guys, trying to fix the things, that AB schedule, non-AB schedule, or whatever it is. Sometimes I went overboard, doesn't matter. As I told you that I still apologize, but I definitely want to tell you that I'll continue to push if I believe. And please help me, Madam President has called me and educated me that Venkat AB schedule may not be replaced, but why it is better. So you took time, at least some time to explain me so that I'm happy now going back that, okay, AB is not right. Gail has done a wonderful job on middle school principals. And anything that offends you, I'll correct myself. But please don't get into the personals of the public and don't use the union as a power or don't use the teachers as a power, and we won't tolerate that anymore. We will expose the conspiracy behind the unions and some of the board members if they really talk and try to attack, a systematic attack on the public. Thank you.
Thank you,
Can I make a
Venkat.
comment?
Yeah.
So I think we are giving credit to Ms. Gail Polakowski for, moving forward, and she duly, deserve it, but I think we are missing the name of Ms. Baninder as well. It would not have happened without her collaboration. I mean, I cannot share the details, but she stepped up to make this, make this a reality. So thank you, Ms. Baninder.
Thank you. Matt?
I never intend to get back up, but I will. First of all, there is no collusion between Mr. Rivera and Perth Amboy and the ETA. I've never talked to Mr. Rivera about negotiations, and I never will. He's not on their team. These are confidential discussions that go on. The board has a right to share with Mr. Rivera. We do not. For your information, Perth Amboy is not even NJA. They're AFT. It's a whole different union. So even our leaders don't talk to each other in that way because it's not the same bargaining units. So before you throw stuff out there and make accusations, please get your facts straight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. See no comments? Motion to end the public comments.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
All in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Good night. Thank you.